All right. It's the 23rd of May. It's a Friday. We got about 30 minutes to the NY Open. Just give me a second. Okay. We'll start with the calendar. Just a second. 1 second. Just 1 second. Okay. So no news today. It's been a quiet week in terms of news, and next week Monday is a holiday, so there'll be no live stream on Monday. We'll start on Tuesday, and then next week is the last week of the month. That's the last week of the month, also the last day of the month, right? On the 30th, and then we're into June. All right, so okay, so what happened on the daily yesterday? We had a bear candle that closed above 3289, but we're still pushing up. We've come to 3329 once again. We came there once, price push, we formed 4-hour supply, and price pushed down. Now we come back to that 4-hour supply, right? Now we're going to try to make a prediction on the weekly based on the weekly candle like we do every Friday, right? So let's take a look at this. On the weekly time frame, the candle is bullish. It's very likely to close a bull candle because there is no major news event that can push price down 1095 pips. It's possible. It's possible, right? It's possible because this could be a liquidity grab because you got to remember that we are at a decision level 3329. I've been saying this all week is a decision level. If you look at the daily time frame, this is a rally based rally. That's daily demand that was ignored on the way down. Then we have a drop based drop, that's daily supply, ignored on the way up. And then we have a drop base drop again, that is also daily demand, right? So all created at 3329, and that's exactly where price is at a decision area, right? So anything can happen here, right? Anything can happen when price gets to decision area. Anything can happen within the session. You can have 30-minute resistance form, a tradable 30-minute back candle close, and then price continue to push straight down, right? Coming down to either close a very small body candle, or price can continue to range here, right, on the 4-hour time frame, because we've already been there on the 4-hour time frame, continue to range here and then begin to push up. So maybe this 4-hour candle closes a doji or whatever, or closes above, and then the next candle pulls back and starts to go up again, right? So either one of those two scenarios can happen because we're at a decision area. um, I I would say that price may not create too much of a new high because we are at a decision level. We might pull back, right, and then push back up. So we might push down to grab liquidity because we've had a move up. If you look at the 30-minute time frame, price has been pushing up since the Asian session, right? We've pushed up about 460 pips since the Asian session, right? Good volume in Asia, good clean volume in the Asian session. In the New York session, crash yesterday. There was nothing on the New York session. Just price pushed down, then pushed back up, and just went sideways, right? So this was just trash yesterday. There was nothing. Now price could form 30-minute resistance here, possibly higher, and then continue to push back down. That's possible. Okay. Um, it's tough today. It's tough to make that. It's tough to make the prediction because we are at a decision level, right? But I would favor sells from higher up, right, towards the supply, or even higher sells for price to for price to start to retrace, or sells from around here for price to retrace, and a push up. That's what I would favor, a push up, right? But it could it could be the other way, where price forms 30-minute resistance, tradable 30-minute back candle closes, and we continue to push down. This level has been touched several times. When we look at the when you go to a trading chart, you'll see we've we've tapped this level many times. So price can come through it, and if it goes through this, if it starts to break these lows, if it comes back to 3289, then we're pushing straight down, right? And then the candle we can have a candle that could close a very small body weekly bull candle with a big top wick, right? Very similar to this, but with a smaller body. That's possible too. Both those scenarios are possible, right? So we could come all the way down, we could drop 500, 600 pips, or we could just push down a little bit and then continue up, right? So those are the two scenarios. Either we push all the way down 500, 600 pips, or we pull back a little bit and continue up later on in the NY session to close a stronger weekly bull candle. Okay, to close a stronger weekly bull candle, or we push down 500, 600 pips to close a weak weekly bull candle, right? I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's go to our trading chart quickly. So there was nothing yesterday, right? We attempted to take buys here. Price came to the liquidity candle, went below this, came back to this liquidity candle, create 30-minute support again, and then there was a trade there. I didn't take that trade. I was not at the charts, but formed 30-minute support again from the liquidity candle, and then pushed up all the way, right? So there was a trade because this candle dipped perfectly in. There was a trade there, but it didn't move in the NY session. It just moved to this liquidity candle. But later on in the Asian session, it has moved back to this liquidity candle, right? All right. And in the Asian session, there was a clean move. You had 30-minute support form, price pull back and go all the way up. So price, you got to keep this in mind. Price, that's why I say the safer stop loss is always under the liquidity candle. If you're trading a larger account, then that's the best place to have a safe stop loss. Um, but because price can come as many times as it needs into a liquidity candle to grab liquidity before heading in the opposite direction. And that's exactly what happened. We tapped it once, and we anticipated price to push up, but it didn't. It came back again. We tapped it again deeper, then formed 30-minute support on tradable 30-minute bull candle closed, and price came, grabbed liquidity again, and then pushed up. So this would have been the entry. This wick would have been the entry. Now also remember that these are liquidity wicks. This is a liquidity wick. This is a liquidity wick from the liquidity candle. This is a liquidity wick in the Asian session from 3289. So it looks like we're pushing up. It looks like we're pushing up. It looks very likely that we're going to break these highs and push up. Is that going to happen today or is it going to happen next week? I don't know, right? It all depends on if there's volume. There hasn't been volume, right? Again, where NY session is dying down with volume. So there's still no clear volume. We might have to wait for, I think, beginning of June, NFP week, to see if volume is back. Okay. Yeah, just we ranged. Yeah, we just ranged. Okay. We can get rid of that. Okay, let's start. Okay, so there's the demand zone right here. Let's start with that. Drop 3 basin candles and a rally. Okay, let's take a look at that. That zone's quite a wide zone. 250 pips, not that wide. Let's take a look at on the 1 hour time frame because we've crossed this. Just a second. Okay. So there is a drop, a base here. These are all basin candles, and then the rally up. Let's take a look at it on 30-minute. Yeah, let's use that. Let's use the 1 hour time frame. So this would be the top of the base, 535 and 920. Yeah, that's good. That's 4 hour demand. Now we can bring this lower so we don't overlap this. 79.20. Okay, that's what's left of that zone. That was a 95 pip zone. We've come 37 pips. It's still a high liquidity zone, right? Yeah, I've come just 38 pips into it. We haven't crossed the 50% mark yet, so we're going to still keep that label on. Okay, yeah, let's keep this liquidity candle for now. I'll redraw them later. Right, so we have a new zone here. Let's take a look at supply. We have this supply zone here, right? Yeah, we haven't broken this high. There's rally, base, and drop here. Let's take a look at the 1 hour time frame. Yeah, it's good on the 1 hour time frame. We're pushing now, just like yesterday. We're pushing up, pre-NY. Okay. Let's get rid of this. We'll come back. We'll draw this later. Okay, so that's for our supply. That's new supply. Okay, still a high liquidity zone. If it crosses the 50% mark, then we'll take this off. Okay, then we have these zones from last week. Got a liquidity candle here. Right, that's it. 700 pips, I think that's good enough. The daily, where is that? 700 pips is here. Yeah, that's the wick. I think that's good enough. Just in case, let's extend this also. In case price pushes up. So that's 1 hour supply. All right, now there is 4 hour demand here and 1 hour. So we have one new zone. That's it. We just have one new. This zone is from last week. Okay. So let's take a look at this zone and see if this is a high liquidity zone. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame. Yeah, we had supply here, rally, base, and a drop, and this candle took out this highs, this zone here, making this a high liquidity zone. Okay. All right. The zones are getting tight at just 260 pips now in between them. Okay, we'll extend this to the right as well in case price pushes down, as we said. Yeah, that's good enough. That covers in case this weekly candle is going to close a weak bullish candle, as I said, drop 400, 500 pips, that's good enough, right? So it's one of two scenarios that we're looking for, either for the weekly candle to continue to drop down, to reverse and come down 400 pips, 400 plus pips, or we continue to break the high and continue to push up to 3367, right? First to 3367 and then towards 3400. Okay. All right. Okay, we've tapped that liquidity candle again. Yeah, we don't need to check this area. We've tapped this liquidity candle. Let's just take a look at this liquidity candle once more. How we had drawn it based off, yeah, this 30-minute candle, this 15-minute candle, perfect. The low is 071. Yeah, perfect. That's the one. So we are reacting to that candle. How many times? Once, twice, 3 times. Yeah, we could reverse here. We could reverse here because that's a large candle and we haven't come to the 50% mark of that candle. This is just 75 pips. It's a 195 pip candle. We've come 75 pips into it and again about 45 pips into it. We could reverse here. Unless price comes deep in, then we pull back, create support, and we take the buys to go up, right? That's the idea. Or if we don't break, continue to go up, and we form 30-minute resistance at around 3350, we could come back down. All right, let's take a look at, we're pushing up just like yesterday, pre-NY. Price is pushing up. Let's take a look at this area on the 1 hour. We've crossed, this candle is just about to close. 30-minute time frame, yeah. This candle is about to close. There is a zone forming here. We can't ignore it because of this. We also can narrow this down now. Yeah, we can narrow this zone down to up here. This open 813. Yeah, better. Let's get rid of this. Okay. Yeah, this 30-minute candle is going to close in 9 minutes. All right. We'll have to wait for the candle to close, but if it closes bullish in the next 9 minutes, then there's a zone forming here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw the zone for now. I'll take it off. If we come back and if the candle comes back down and closes, somewhere here back in the base, then I'll take it off, right? Then I won't. Then it's not a leg out. But right now it looks like a leg out, and it just has 8 minutes for the candle to close. And since we're doing the analysis right now, I just want to draw it, right? I'm just going to draw it because anticipating that it will close bullish. Okay. Yeah, so this would be the rally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 base in candles and a rally, right? So we have 30-minute time frame. Yeah, perfect. So this is low 266, 214, 214, 2. Okay, we're going to break that on the way down. We're going to break that. If price comes, if we form 30-minute resistance and try to come down, we're going to break this. We're going to come down to the EMAs and then here. Let's see. We have to wait for candles to close. Let's not. Don't want to get ahead of myself here. All right. So this is 30-minute demand. Sorry, 1 hour demand. H1 demand. Okay. Still have about 8 minutes for the NY open. Now, has this taken out anything to? Yes, it has. The zone has taken out this high. We have a rally, a base, and a drop. So making this also a high liquidity zone. It's very tricky here today because price is at a decision level. I said it's very tricky. We are seeing setups form for a push down and also setup form for a push up in the same area because this being a decision level, right? So we're starting to see mixed signals here, mixed information, right? Where we start seeing structure for price to push down and structure for price to push up at above 3329. In between this range, in between 3350 and 3329, that's about a 190 pip. Let's say one. Leave on the wicks. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame. Yeah, leaving off the wicks. It's about a 150, 160 pip zone. We're seeing both. We'll start seeing both information for price to either push up or price to push down. So we've got to be very careful today. Very, very careful. Okay, all right. So let's see if there is a liquidity candle in here in this new zone that we've drawn. Save this. Okay. On the 1 hour, we have this large candle here, 249 pip candle. We have this 215. This is larger. Let's start with that. It's 30-minute time frame. It would be this candle, 195 pips. Let's look at the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, this is the clean move up, 236 pips. 163, 114. Yeah, that's a liquidity candle right there. Yeah, 15-minute time frame. Perfect. This one, 555920. Okay. All right. Now, we've already tapped it, so I don't want to overlap this. So I'm going to bring this down. 7920. So that's all that's left of that liquidity candle, right? Okay. Let's take a look at this area. On the 1 hour, there is this candle. That engulfs the entire zone. Let's go to the 30-minute time frame. 30-minute would be this candle, 93 pips. There is really no liquidity here except for this 3329. Candles are moving sideways here. Let's look at the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, there is a move up here, 110 pip move up. So it's here. Let's take a look at the 5-minute. $67, $69. Yeah, we'll have to use this 30-minute candle. But there is not, no, in terms of candles, there is not much. There isn't a really high liquidity candle, but there is this weekly SR level right here because the candles have moved sideways. See the difference here? There's a push up, direct push up, and price stayed above and moved up. Here we started to break below this liquidity candle. 34,490. 34,490. All right. See, this is what I said. It's tight today. Look at that. 70 pips between the two candles. 70 pips. Tight. Tough. You want to take a trade today? You want to trade today? You're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait for direction and for structure to form. And that might be after NYSE open. This is tough. There is a weekly SR level here, right? These are liquidity levels. That price grabs liquidity and reverses from, right? These are liquidity levels. We've got a weekly SR level here. We've got a liquidity candle here. We've got a liquidity candle here. We've got a psychological round number here. It's tough. That's why I said at the beginning, when I was doing when we're trying to predict the weekly candle close, it's tough because we are at this area, at a decision point. I explained all of this, right? Between 3329 and 3350, right? We had a rally-based rally, all right? Then we have a drop-based drop, ignored on the way up. This was ignored on the way down. Again, between 3350 and 3329. And now we again have between those two same levels, between 3350 and 3329, is a drop-based drop. And prices come deep into it and rejected and pushed down. So are we going to break? Likely, could happen, but we need to see lower time frame candle structure for that, right? Price needs to pull back, create some sort of support, and then push up. Okay, all right. We still have about 15 minutes because I always wait for the first 15-minute candle to close before looking for a setup. Might have to wait a lot longer, I think, today. But we'll see in the first 1.5, 2 hours if we have a trade for the NY session or not. Okay. The 30-minute candle has closed. Bullish. We're pushing up. Pushing up. Yeah. Nothing to do right now. We're inside supply. You can't sell. There's no confirmations for sells, and we can't buy because we're inside a liquidity candle and at 3350. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at what price has done in the Asian and London sessions. Okay. We're very bullish. This is very similar to what happened yesterday pre-NY. Price pushed straight up 300 pips. Yeah, we're almost there, 300 pips. And then we came down. Very similar to what happened yesterday. Anyway, we've already done 600 and almost 675 pips for the day. Daily candle is pushing past, yeah. We could react here, 3350 and push down, start to push down. Or because there are weekly wicks here at 3350 and 3367. We start to push down, or we can come down, create support and push back up. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, yeah, just a second. Just a second. Right. Hmm. Pushing up. Yeah, we're just pushing up. Just wanted to check something. There is just pushing up past these levels. Let's look at the 30-minute time frame. Yeah, very likely coming up here. 3367. 3367. It's the next liquidity area. If it doesn't find enough liquidity here, it doesn't seem like it. Unless you see 5-minute back candle starts to close, strong back candle start to close. Anyway, let's get on with it. Just wanted to see if you have formed 5-minute back candles. Pushing up. Forming bull candles should continue higher. Okay, let's look at the 50-minute time frame. Trying to push up, but we're at 3-3. It's a decision level. Are we going to close above? And we're going to continue higher. Okay, see where the market opened. So the market opened here, 94.38. Asian low. Mm. It's just been a clean push up. Yeah, we're moving sideways right now at 3350. It's going to be tough today in this range. What's going to happen? Well above the London high. Let's see. Yeah, we're well above all of these zones. So it's tough. You're going to push. There is no reaction to the London high or London low. We're well past the Asian session. It's tough to see what's going to happen here. Might have to wait a long time. The size 443. 266. Uh, 30-minute candle closes above, then we're pushing further up. Closes above 3350. It's so wild though for it to close. Yeah, there's nothing to do here. We're well above, we form support. We're well above the London high. Unless there is a pullback, support was formed before pre-NY, so it needs to be a pullback, 30-minute support form to push further up. Until then, there's nothing to do. Yeah, nothing. It's way far away. Mm. Let's see if price can push down. I'm, yeah, because price is at a decision level, we could form resistance, 30-minute resistance, and push all the way down, or we can form the 30-minute resistance, come down, grab liquidity and continue up because of this level, because of this area. We'll have to wait. Take in sells is dicey because price is very bullish right now. We're very bullish. Take in buys is better, but price can easily come through this level all the way down. Yeah. We have to wait for 30 minutes support. That's it. There's nothing else to do. 895. So 113. Hmm. Yeah. It's best to wait and not sell in this. Not sell here. Even if there's 30-minute resistance, not sell. Just wait. Be better just to wait. See how the 4-hour candle was likely to close. It's an hour and a half for the 4-hour candle to close. Yeah, we could close bullish with a wick to fill and then wait for the pullback and take the trade to go up. That'll be better. That'll be better. There's nothing happening here. 50-minute candles are closing side by side, 5-minute candle closing side by side. Yeah, so yesterday we ranged. There was nothing. Price just flatlined around 3289 and came here, grabbed liquidity in the Asian session. The market opened here. The market opened. Yeah, here, right here, just sideways in between these two liquidity levels. Grab liquidity, price came. We had created a liquidity candle here in the Asian session, in the NY session yesterday. Grab liquidity from the liquidity candle and 3289 created the Asian low. We had created the Asian high to come down, then pushed back up, back to the Asian high, continued higher, right? So the Asian session move, yeah, about a 200 pip move. And then the London session about 170. So not much move, but in between the sessions there was a lot of movement, just like here. In between the sessions, in between NY and London, big move up, 200 pip move up. In between Asian and London, 250 pip move up. And then we pushed up, created the London high, around 3329, came down, created the London low again at that range. On the way up, created a liquidity candle back to the London. I just ranged. And now we've broken pre-NY has broken above it, closed above it. This is pre-NY candle. We closed above it, and this one closed, pushed straight to 3350. Hmm. 15-minute candle is just about to close. We're closing in that range of that candle. This doesn't mean it can do anything. 30-minute candle is just about to close, closing resistance. Mm, we could. It's tricky, but we can. Could place a pending order here. 30-minute, no. It's a doji. No, no. That's a doji. If the candle had closed down here, maybe. No, it's a doji. 50-minute doji, bullish doji, 15-minute bearish doji. Nothing to do. 30-minute doji. 1 hour candle is still deciding what to do. Is it going to close below or close above? We have to wait. The moves have been happening outside, still outside of pre-NY move. Pre-NY move. First 2 hours of NY session, nothing yet. This big move down only to come here, grab liquidity and just range after that. Come down. So this wasn't from a liquidity level, just a push down to grab liquidity, create 30-minute support from that liquidity candle, and then just range, not even push up. The Asian session is when price pushed up. Yeah, we're pushing up again. Ugh. I think for a trade today, it's going to have to wait for around 10:30 a.m. EST. Yeah. Nothing now. Because price is in supply, and at a liquidity candle price, there doesn't seem to be enough liquidity here. Because a 30-minute candle has passed and we closed the doji. If there was enough liquidity here, there are two liquidity levels. There is the psychological round number and the liquidity candle. We should have rejected the area, but there is obviously not enough liquidity because we're trying to push back up. And the next liquidity level is 3367. That's where price is trying to head to. Oh man. We've broken this high, but still struggling. 9 minutes for the 15-minute candle to close. What happened to my screen? This 30-minute candle can pull back all the way down. We should be heading up because there's not enough liquidity here. Should be heading up. Should be pushing through. Yeah, they're pushing through. We should push through. Push past that high, then we're heading. There's no top wick. We should be heading to 3367. What's going on with my screen, man? Something's wrong with the power. So we need to check the power. So we've gone past this liquidity candle. Should get a pullback. Two minutes more for the 15-minute candle to close. Let's see where this candle closes. We're heading to 3367. It could be even heading higher. Could be even heading higher. Very possible. Pushing up. No bottom wick. Strong bull candle close above 3350. Broke on the high. The liquidity candle high should continue. Should have a pullback and continue. Mm. Yesterday, it was a nice move yesterday. End of the New York session. 30-minute support form. Price came down to this candle, pushed straight up, almost 200 pips. But then after that, just ranged. The better trade was in the Asian session. 30-minute support form here. Form 30-minute support. This candle came to this liquidity candle that we created and to 3289. Go to the 15-minute time frame. This one broke this low. This one broke this low. Perfect up. Straight up. Asian session trade. Asian session has been great for now almost 4 weeks, a month. If you're a trader who trades, you're a session trader who trades the Asian session, you've done really well this month because you had a lot of volume. If you were a pullback trader or a breakout trader, it doesn't matter. You had a lot of volume. NY session, not so much. We're still struggling at this liquidity candle, still nothing. Yeah, that's the pullback. Very likely the pullback. Strong bearish close, then we'll come down. Yeah, we could come down back here. Now, let's take a look at this area again. 1 second. We come past the liquidity candle. I'm struggling at the top of it. This zone, we can make this, yeah, we can get rid of this one. Bring it here. 5606. Pushing up, should push up. Yeah, we're going to break this high. The price is going to break this high. It's just taking time because there's no volume right now. Yeah, rally, base, drop. We've broken above this high. We're coming here and we're going to break this high. After that, it's clean space to the left for price to push up. But we have to see if we have a reaction here for price to push down, so we can create support and push back up. Take a trade to push up. I'm going to keep this liquidity candle until price gets up here. Once we get closer to this, then I'll get rid of it. But I've narrowed down the zone based off on the 30-minute supply. Right? It was a 4-hour zone. We've come deep into it, so it doesn't make sense to have the zone down here. Based off the 30-minute, I've used this rally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 basin candles and this drop. Right? But we are coming up. We're coming up to 3367 and then further up. The question is, are we going to get a pullback, form support so that we can take a buy to go up, to catch that move up to 3367 and higher? Yeah. If we start to close above 3350, then we're heading up to 3367 easy and into this wick. Let's see. This is a pullback. We can't take a buy here. This is still supply, very close to supply. This is where I'd be willing to take a buy. Price comes down, we tap this area, the London high. 15-minute support is fine because price is about 300 pips away from the EMA, so it's fine. Price to pull back, create 15-minute support, and to take the buys to go up. But can't buy here, can't buy at supply. And for sells, maybe we're coming up here. Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah. This is the ideal trade. 30-minute support form, one or two or even three candles later, price comes, one, two, or three candles later, price comes, dips into this and pushes up. That's the ideal trade. Come down, form 30-minute support is always better. I always say that 30-minute support is better. Come down, form 30-minute support like this, and then within one to three candles, price comes, grabs liquidity, and pushes up. Respects the low, continues high. So this 30-minute candle closed at 17:30 IC market server time. We go to the 15-minute time frame. Just want to show you how I would draw the fib on that. Yeah, closed here. This was the candle close. This is the new candle open, 17:30. So this candle broke this low. This one broke this low. Look at that. Perfect. 40 pip stop loss. Straight up to 303.76. And then after that, that was the Asian session. In the NY session, yeah, we did push up to 303.76. Straight up, yeah. It's about 200 pips. But we didn't get to this level. That happened only in the Asian session today. And here. We had something similar on earlier this week also here. Yeah, on Wednesday. This is Thursday. This is Wednesday. 30-minute support form. There was a liquidity candle here and a liquidity level. Price came one, two candles later, tapped, pushed up. Here there is nothing to do. Yeah, I think the move's going to happen. We might get a trade later on. If we get a trade, it's a Friday. That's the other concern. And Monday is no NY session, so we might get a trade later on. Mm. Big push up, no pullback. Very similar. Big push up, no pullback. Hmm. 30-minute candle closed bullish, broken the high, continuing higher, no bottom wick. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait for the 4-hour candle to close now. Just an hour more for the candle to close. This candle is still pushing up. Mm. Should get here easily. 3367 and then 3369. Today is possibly one of those days where there is no trade today. It's very possible. Possibly coming down to create a bottom wick before we push up. Tap 3350 again, then push up. There we go, bottom wick formed. This candle is very likely coming down to create a bottom wick and then will flip bullish and push up. Depends where the bottom wick is going to be created. You could come back here. Okay, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. 'What's happening here? Five minutes more with the 15-minute candle to close. So I'm going to end the stream in about 5 minutes because there's not going to be any trade right now for the next maybe an hour. There's not going to be a trade, at least for 45 minutes. There's not going to be anything because the 30-minute has another 20 minutes to close. We're very likely going to close a doji or bullish and then continue higher. There are no sells to take here because you got to wait for the candles to close. 30-minute resistance needs to form. A tradable 30-minute back candle needs to close for price to come down, and we're still pushing up. You've gone past the liquidity candle. We're very likely heading towards 3367 and then above this zone further up. So the only trade would to take would be the safer trade would be to wait for price to pull back, form 30-minute support, and then take a trade because it's a Friday. Wait for 30-minute support to form. That would be better. That would be better. 30-minute support form and then take the trade to go up. Yeah. 30-minute support, tradable 30-minute bull candle close, like just like this, just like this. And then wait for the pullback and then take the trade up. Exactly like this, exactly like this, just like this. Last 2 days, that's what happened. Wait for that. Wait for the pullback. We had a massive pullback, right? On over 300 pip pullback, 325. Yeah, 330 pip pullback could happen. Can have a huge pullback, and then price could push up. That's a trade idea. Yeah, I'll end the stream in about 4 minutes because that's gonna take time to develop. For price to pull back, create support, 30-minute support, and then draw the M15 fib, and then look for a trade to go up. That is the safer, better trade to take because we are very bullish right now. Price is pushing up, the weekly candle is pushing up, further up. 4-hour candle is about going to close in about 45 minutes, 46 minutes. It's better to wait for you're going to have to wait for the 4-hour candle to close for that pullback. You're going to have to wait for the 4-hour candle to close. About 46 minutes more. Mm-hmm. 50-minute candle is trying to close bearish. Let's see, 42 seconds trying to close. Four, 610. Could break the wick and come down. Let's wait for 30-minute candle to close. Okay, I'll be back in a couple of minutes. I'll probably wait for the 30-minute candle to close. Let's see how this 30-minute candle is going to close. Okay. Let's see. 30-minute candle is trying to push back up. 10 minutes, 11 minutes more for the candle to close. It's no bottom wick. We're coming down. If you come down here, 3353, we'll close strong bearish. If we come to 3353, we'll close strong bearish. And we'll form resistance. Yeah, 3353, 3352. Let's see. Yeah, coming down. Coming down. This could be the pullback to form support to push up. Let's wait for 30-minute candle to close. If we close bearish, the next one can break the low and come down. And wherever it comes to, any one of these liquidity levels, the weekly SR level, the liquidity candle, the EMAs, wait for 30-minute support to form, right? And then draw the fib, wait for the pullback to go back up. Wait for support to form, 30-minute support. Because we could have, if you try to take 15-minute support, we might have a situation where price starts to range like this. So it's better to wait for 30-minute support. Pushing back again from here. It should come down. We've closed, rejected this area. 108. Yeah, could come down. We could come down. Continue down. Wait for 30-minute candle to close. Let's see. 5 minutes, 6 minutes more. Let's see how the candle closes. Let's see. All depends on how the candle closes. Could be a sell trade to come down before we go up. Yeah. If we close bearish, 30 minutes for the 1 hour candle to close. No, I wouldn't take the sells. 30 minutes for the 1 hour candle to close. You got to be careful. 35 minutes more. Just, yeah, for the 4 hour candle to close. But we should be pushing down now. 15-minute should be coming down here, at least here, or further down. This is the move down. If the 50-minute candle closes below 3350, we're coming down. But might not get an entry up here. I wouldn't take, if the 30-minute candle closes bearish, strong back candle close like this, I'll not take a sell here because we've got 3350. So the sells would be up here. Up here. This is where sells would be. 3360. So you got 100 pips to 3350. It's 0.22. Yeah, we're coming down. We're coming down now. Question is, are we going to get a pullback before we come down? Yeah, coming down. 30-minute candle is pushing down, closing bearish. Here. 44. Yeah, coming down. Now, if we come to 3342 before the candle closes, then that's it. Then we're coming straight down. We're not going to pull back. We're going to come down probably and create support. We're not going to pull back for an entry. If we come to 3343. 2.5 minutes more. 474380. See how the candle is going to close. If we close back a doji, then there is no trade. Then there is no trade. It has to close strong back candle close. Ideally, if we close at 3350 or below it. At it is also fine because that'll be a fairly large body. That's decent. But if we close like this, if we close above this resistance here, then no. I wouldn't trust the sells. Then we're rejecting this area to push higher. Okay, let's see how the 30-minute candle is closing. Yeah, we're closing at 3350. Closing at 335. Oh, no. Let's see. Mm, yeah, I would consider that resistance and a back handle close. Pending order here, 3360 to come down here. Not chasing price. If you come here, take an entry to come down there, right? Stop loss above here, above 3364. So 3360, so that's about a 40 pip stop loss. Anticipating price to come to 3342 and further down. How you manage risk is, you can manage risk around, well, your entry is deeper. No, you can't. There's no place to manage. It's a 40 pip stop loss. It's a 40 pip stop loss. That's the entry. 3360. See, 3360.25. It's basically at this, above this candle high. You can place the entry even here. 3361. Yeah, there. That's entry. Right? That's entry. 40 pips, 40, 34 pips, or 40 pips, right? Pending order, you can place the pending order, stop loss above that, 30, 40 pips stop loss, around, yeah, on average, about 35 pips on average between the two entries, anticipating price to come down here, right? Because it's a tight stop loss, there is no way to manage risk because that is, the 15-minute resistance is at the entry, right? I hope that's clear. That's why there is no risk management level. If you look here, that is where you would manage risk. You would manage risk as 3361, and that's what where the entry is, 3361, right? So it's a 35 on those two entries. If price pulls back, that's where you want to get in to come down here. Now we might not, price might push straight down, and then, so this is the sell setup, right? I've given the entry, stop loss would be 3364.7, just above 3364.7. Your TPs are 3341, 3341.5 or 3342, and then 3335, right? Those are your TP levels. You can even take partial positions at 3350, 3350, 3342, and 33350, right? 33350 for the sells. That's if the sells work. If for the buys, wait for price to push down, create 30-minute support. You're looking for something like this. Exactly something like this or something like this. That's the same, right? 30-minute support from at a liquidity level. Wait for tradable 30-minute bull candle to close and then draw the fib like I just did and look for the buys at the best possible price. So your best possible price are at optimal or sniper, right? Or somewhere in between. Look for a lower time frame, 5-minute or 1-minute supply demand zone in between those or even higher, and that's why you want to take your trade, right? And your 30-minute, under your 30-minute support, under the candle that created 30-minute support, under the candle low is your stop loss for the buys. We've already come to 3342, right? No, price didn't push up. So wait, so maybe you can place a pending order, but if price comes here, creates support, and we grab liquidity and you get in buys, then close those sells, right? Does that make sense? If price comes down here, form support, and you draw the fib and you get entry, then close the sells because we're pushing up then. We're pushing up straight to 3367. Okay, for now you can place pending orders here, 3361.15 or 3360, and wait with stop loss above 3367.7, and TP levels are already given. All right. Okay, don't overtrade, don't over risk. There, this could happen, right? It's NY session. We've had low volume, so this could happen. So be very conservative with your TP levels. If you do get entry, don't try to hold runners. Right? This is not been. It's not the time for. NY session for the last 1 month has not been good to hold runners. So as I've been saying, 40, 50 pips, start to close partials, right? 40, 50 pips, then you can close about 40%, 50%, and then the rest you can hold at the TP levels that I've given, right? We are coming down. We're coming down. Very likely we're not going to get these entries. Price is going to come down, create 30-minute support. So that's very likely. These entries are not going to get triggered. Okay. All right. See you guys on Tuesday. So Monday is a holiday. We'll be back here on Tuesday, 7:30 a.m. EST. All right. Okay. Take care. Have a great weekend. Have a great long weekend.